Hello and welcome to Banking Frontiers Live. We are in for our interesting conversation on payment leadership as a part of our payment leadership series. And today I am going to introduce you to a luminary from the world of fintech, from the world of payments, who has been into this sector for decades now and leads as the business head for Instarem, which is the division of NIUM. They do some wonderful job in the world of payments where they have over 40 countries where they are directly present and they do payments in over 100 countries. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's welcome Mr. Yogesh Sangle, the global business head of Instarem. Yogesh, welcome to Banking Frontiers Live.
Thanks, Babu. Really appreciate you having me on this.
Wonderful. So, Yogesh, we have been seeing the business of remittances has always been hot, especially in countries like Asia, in Middle East, and of course in the US and Canada as well. Being in this business for so many years as a fintech, you must have always noticed that global payments have always taken a backseat when it comes to instant payments or payment experiences compared to the local payments. Where do you see exactly the lag? And what are the areas where you can easily identify the innovation opportunities in this area?
Absolutely. So I think one of the key things that we've seen is that global payments is broken across various parts of the world, right? Some countries have done it very, very well. India has UPI, China has Alipay, WeChat Pay, and various other ways of kind of transferring funds instantly, internally, locally. But whenever it comes to cross-border, we still struggling, right? And there are no real means of kind of connecting the dots between various jurisdictions, various countries, and stuff like that. So whenever you want to send money cross-border, whenever you want to move money cross-border, it is a challenge, right? And you know that after COVID, there's a whole revenge migration that's happening in the remittance space. Like people, any place that you go to Australia, you go to Canada, you go anywhere else, you see help wanted signs everywhere. People are going to move pretty fast, right? At a very, very mass scale. And when that migration happens, with various passes that various jurisdictions are introducing, like, Singapore has a one pass and Hong Kong has various student visas that they've expanded and stuff like that. We have to, fintechs are going to become more and more innovative as we move forward, right? And for us, I think the most important thing, and especially for Instagram, has been to simplify the process, and what fintechs have to do going forward for innovation is to get out of the way. Our job is to get out of the way. Okay. Our job is not to kind of stand there and say, oh, I'm Instagram and you have to use me, because nobody wants to use a provider, or nobody wakes up in the morning saying, I want to remit money from one country to the other, right? People wake up in the morning saying, I want to ensure that my mom gets money today, or, there's a great investment opportunity in Brazil and I need to move money there for that, right? So our job is to kind of make that easy. So what innovation we are seeing is that making things simple, using one or two clicks to move forward. Okay.
Absolutely. And that is ultimately the experience that the people want.
Yes.
So, when you enter newer markets, especially any kind of fintech, any kind of payment players, what are the typical kind of hurdles one can see? And how should businesses keep this in mind when they plan their cross-border expansion strategies?
Yep. The two ways that I would like to kind of address this. One is, players such as us going and launching in different markets. We have to look at regulatory constraints. We have to look at local rules. Also, we have to build a world-class onboarding mechanism. Many times there are local providers in the market to which you have to integrate so that, you provide the best experience. Again, I'm talking about this 1, 2, 3 click way of kind of sending money. So there's a lot of technological investment. There's a lot of investment in compliance that you need to do to ensure that you're successful. The second part is, if I'm a business and I'm expanding, right? a lot of businesses expand and then they realize, wow, our money is stuck in this country, right? I was recently talking to a large financial services player, and they're into gaming, and they basically told me that their money is stuck in a country in South Asia and they're not able to get it out. But basic rules, talking to a partner like us, you would have known that if you are in a country, then what rules do you need to do, what kind of accounts would you need, and how would you be able to kind of go through, right? Or you can get your money in and out very easily. So our job is to kind of simplify that, make life easier for businesses as they move into newer and newer markets.
Interesting. So you push all the complexities to the back office and make the front office more experiential. So one important thing that you would always be playing is with data. And
Yes.
different organizations across the world, different countries have different compliance norms for data. Okay. So how are you ensuring that you strictly adhere to these complexities of data privacy on one side and give confidence to the people that, hey, you are safe?
Absolutely, absolutely. Very important, right? I mean, data, customer security, and just privacy is super important, right? We are licensed in 40 jurisdictions through NIUM, and from our perspective, I think we have taken the toughest laws in the toughest jurisdictions and applied it almost across our portfolio, right? Because privacy is important and it's becoming more and more important as we move forward. Second thing is the right tech and AI tools in place, right, to ensure, because at any point of time, any as a public website which transfers money, we are always subject to different kinds of attacks, right? And we have the tools and tech in place to repel them. Most of them can't even get a toehold into anything that we do, right? So that is what our day-to-day job is. Our cybersecurity experts are really cutting edge, and the tools that we use, we are always trying to be ahead because fraudsters are getting more and more sophisticated. We have to be one step ahead of them and ensure that we do everything in our power to take care of customer needs.
Interesting, interesting. And it is not an easy job.
No, it
Okay,
is not.
because there is a lot of friction when you bring in security there because the simplicity, the experience is compromised in one side. So on one side, you have to ensure security, trust, regulations, compliance. On the other side, the user wants minimum clicks possible. And
Absolutely.
you have to play a balancing act there. Okay.
Absolutely.
How have you been handling this balancing act?
So for us, it's been very clear, right? I mean, it is about applying things smartly, right? Every customer does not need to go through the same process, right? So if, for example, in some parts of the world we have to do OTPs, not every customer needs to do OTPs. OTPs can be trigger based, using tools and especially some deep data tools which help us figure out when to put in a particular compliance or a particular friction trigger so that not every customer needs to go through it. Also, value of transactions, and what threshold do you let go and then remediate versus what do you remediate upfront before letting go, right? And all of this is like our secret sauce. So we try to kind of ensure that we do this with the least amount of friction. I hate adding one more step or one more click to my experience. So I hold very high standards from our teams to kind of ensure that friction is minimal, but customers are protected. It is a tough balance.
Interesting. So what level of experiences, new experiences are customers in the remittances space going to experience in the near future, according to you?
As I said earlier, no customer wakes up in the morning to do remittance or a transfer. They have an end goal in mind, right? So that end goal is very, very important, right? So what we are trying to, or what players like us are trying to do, and we especially are trying to take lead is that what is that end goal that they're trying to reach, and how are we making that end goal. So not building a super app, but making those experiences easier. So if build a kind of a self-sufficient ecosystem and build an experience around it, not just talking about remittances, right? Also take advantage of all these mechanisms that are making things real time. Now customers are actually searching for better ways to send money, and they realize that there are players like us outside of banks who provide them better options,
Right.
right? So all of this is leading to growth of fintech and growth of experiences.
Interesting. Now you have been seeing a lot of innovations like blockchain and crypto creeping in into the business of payments and making payments better. So what role are they playing now? And what is the role that you think they will play in the future also to fast track the world of payments?
So I think Instagram was, and NIUM for that matter, we were early movers in this, right? We were one of the first players to kind of work with Ripple, which was at that point of time a provider of end-to-end solutions, right? And we are still one of the largest users of Ripple. We use them pretty extensively to ensure that our customers find better ways or better value in transferring money, also get some liquidity, because that's one solution that crypto or blockchain providers can provide, right? Eventually, my view is that blockchain is going to be the backbone of any infrastructure in the market, but it's going to take some time to get there, right? I mean, one of the things that old professor of mine had said is that I think the first NFC transaction had actually happened in 1984, and actually NFC didn't go mainstream and live till the middle of 2010s, right? So, and it's still catching on in some countries like the US and stuff like that. So I feel that just like that, blockchain will take its time, not that much time, but it'll be pretty much monumental as it goes forward, right? Right now, uh, all the crypto speculation is down. That's a good time to innovate. Best innovation happens when markets are down. So I think there'll be good innovation coming out of that space, and we are there to take advantage of it.
Wonderful. And I think crypto has already proved to the world that it can definitely make payments faster. What new innovations are coming as a workaround without compromising on compliance to make sure that the payments or international remittances become faster, especially the corporate payments is one of the biggest hurdle.
Absolutely. I think, in the payments industry, the one question that is always asked is, where is my money? Right? Everybody wants to know where their money is. And whenever there's a compliance requirement, there's a requirement for additional information, an RFI or any queries that we need to answer, or go back to the customer, that causes a lot of heartburn, right? So from our perspective, we try and kind of build in as many automated tools, so that that process becomes simpler. So we've always been open to integrating with the newest technologies, right? Sometimes even experimenting with them, right? So that's something that we've been doing pretty effectively, because of which we've never had any issues in kind of uh, our straight through processing and stuff like that. It's more complex for businesses, because at the end of the day you need to know who's the ultimate beneficiary owner, and for that onboarding takes some time, right? It's still not a place where your onboarding can happen in seconds. On the consumer side, you can onboard in certain countries where digital databases are available, you can onboard customers in seconds. But for businesses, everybody does want to take some time to onboard business. But once we've onboarded and gotten the information, we should be able to use our tools to ensure that things happen fast and really at a great pace.
Interesting. I think that is probably the key next problem area that the world has to address on how to become more compliant by getting the KYCs in place faster. Great, Yogesh. I think I had a wonderful conversation with you on the various aspects of payments, especially the global payments, remittances. Any last word you want to say where the trend is looking at in the world of global payments?
So I think one of the big things that we are solving for, and I think NIUM is solving for as well as Instagram is solving for, is travel payments, right? People travel is back. With COVID, most of us didn't see each other except on Zoom calls for an extended period of time. But travel is back. It's truly back. It is expensive. Okay, so I think every provider is looking for ways and means to make things simpler. Customers are looking for the best way to kind of get things done much cheaper. So I think keeping costs down on travel is a big focus area for both NIUM as well as for Instagram. Yeah.
And what about this infrastructure? Is any work happening in the area of infrastructure?
Of course, a lot of work are happening in the case of infrastructure, right? As I said, the infrastructure is broken, right? So players like us are trying to fix it, right? And the way we fix it is we are trying to build our own rails wherever possible. Where we can't build our own rails because there are limitations or country regulations, we tend to partner with others. But usually we try to build our own rails. And that gives us control, that gives you flexibility, that also lets the customer know where their money is at all points of time. So there's a lot of work happening, and it's painstaking, right? Going and building it across each and every country, because every country has different rules, regulations, getting a bank account, parking monies at times so that funds can be made instantaneously, especially where there is no capital account convertibility. It's very, very important. So I think we're doing NIUM's kind of a game changer there. So hopefully an Instagram which runs on is powered by NIUM makes it easier for our customers. Therefore we have it easy with our mothership in terms of transferring money across borders.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for a wonderful conversation.
Thanks, Babu. Really appreciate you reaching out to us for this. Thank you.